Hey guys, it's Greg Alexander again with Alexander the Greg Fishing, and today I wanted to talk to you about the 6 best baits for bass fishing in January, wintertime in general. First I want to exclude the A-rig, which may be the single best bait for wintertime for bass fishing. But there's so many areas, including my area, where we're not allowed to throw it. Can't throw it in a lot of tournaments. So I'm not going to include that. So I'm going to start in descending order from not the worst, but my least favorite to my favorite bait for wintertime or January bass fishing, in that order. The first one would be a lipless crankbait, something like this. Lipless crankbait come in a variety of different weights and sizes and things like that. I'm just not going to do a detailed methods on each of these baits today. I just kind of want to list the baits and give you a generality about them. The lipless crankbait, fish it one of two ways. The first way would be to throw it out, let it go all the way to the bottom, and reel it just as slow as you can reel it. The second way I would fish it in the wintertime would be to throw it out, let it go all the way to the bottom, and then pump it and jig it in. Pump it, jig it up, let it go to the bottom. Pump it, jig it up, let it go to the bottom. The color of the lipless crankbait depends on the sun, clouds, wind, watercolor. There's a lot of things that go into it. We won't talk about that today. We're talking about the baits in general. The second bait, number 5 on the list, would be a flat-sided crankbait. A lot of different flat-sided crankbaits on the market. That tight wiggle would generate a bite in the wintertime, most of the time better than a wide wiggle, with some exceptions like wiggle warts, spro rock crawlers, and things like that. They tend to do well in the Ozark areas again. But a flat side crankbait, how you fish it? Throw it out, reel it slow with a couple of jerks and twitches on the way in and some stops here or there. The next bait that would be on my list, number 4, we're working down 6, 5, 4, would be the silver buddy. Silver buddy, proven, time tested, been around forever and ever. That's a fish catching bait. Come in all different weights again, 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, 3/4. They even make some over an ounce. Silver buddies, again, real easy to fish. Throw it out, let it go to the bottom. And my favorite way to fish it would be to just shake it. Just shake it. Shake, 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 take up the slack. Shake, 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 take up the slack. If they get hung up, they got enough weight, you can usually shake them off pretty easy. The way most people would fish a silver buddy would be to yo-yo it. Like I said, throw it out, let it go to the bottom, and lift it up 1 foot to 2 foot, sometimes even 3 foot off the bottom, let it go back down. Do the same thing. So you're pumping, just pumping it and jigging it all the way back in. The fourth bait, or excuse me, number 3 on the list, 6, 5, 4, number 3, suspending jerkbait. Now, a suspending jerkbait, I went into great detail about what to do with a suspending jerkbait in a couple of my previous videos. If you look them up, you can get some more insight onto that. So we're going to move right from the suspending jerkbait into my number 2 bait in the wintertime, which would be a jig. Now, a jig, again, comes in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. For me, the key for jig fishing most of the time in the wintertime is you want a small jig with a very inactive trailer. You don't want all that flippity floppity stuff going on in the wintertime. The fish seem to be more keyed in to that less twisty type, I guess for a lack of a better word, type trailers on them. And you want it very compact. Even if you use a heavier, bigger jig, you want it compact. You want to shrink it down from top to bottom. You don't want a big long bait or a big wide bait. Now you can throw that and you may catch the biggest bass of the year doing that, but that may be the only bite you get throwing that during the day. So my number one bait on my top 6 January or winter bass baits would be a shaky head. Now, they come in all different shapes and sizes also. There's a bigger shaky head. The weight of the shaky head depends on how deep you're fishing it, how much current's involved, if there is any current involved, the wind, things like that. So a shaky head is anything that would be on a jig head that is a straight tail worm without a bunch of, again, flippity flop type stuff on the back. Straight inactive type of worm. Zoom finesse worm, any type of stick bait, Senko, general, things like that, a little bit bigger baits to try to attract some bigger fish. But a shaky head, in my opinion, in the wintertime, and when I'm talking about wintertime in my area, it's like 48 degrees and down in water temperature. Most of our winter, the water temperature is in the mid to low 40s and even gets into the upper 30s if it's not frozen. And this time of year, as you see, my top 3 baits, my top 2 baits are bottom bumpers. I believe that the fish in the wintertime spend most of their time on the bottom. That's why these baits tend to work best. There's days when that jerkbait will catch them when they get up and suspended. There's days when that flat-sided crankbait or that rattle trap type bait are going to work better. They're usually on the days where you've had some more stable weather, not as cold nights and things like that. The fish may be a little bit more active. They may be up just a little bit shallower, a little bit easier to get to, or they're in a little bit better mood, a little bit better chasing mood. But most of the winter around here, the mid-Atlantic area, when we get winter sets in, the nights are in the 20s and the days are in the 40s. For the most part, we have sometimes a week or two where it'll be in the single digits or the teens at night and highs in the 20s or low 30s. So the colder it gets, the closer to the bottom you want to fish, and the slower you want to fish. But for just straight up catching fish when nothing else works in the wintertime, tie your shaky head on. Neutral colors, black works if it's a little dingier, or extremely clear water. Green pumpkin, obviously, watermelon reds, things like that. You can't get wrong with those colors. So they are my top 6 baits for wintertime or January fishing in this area. And again, if you like my content and you want to see more videos like that, please hit the subscribe button and have a blessed day. Thank you.